Yo, what's going on, guys? And we're talking about some Detroit Piston news that we're hearing that Malik Monk and Nick Claxton and Miles Bridges and Tobias Harris are all guys that are on their radar. And for me, I think the two guys that we're going to talk today are Malik Monk and Nick Claxton. I did another video, Tobias Harris and Miles Bridges. The reason why I'm putting these two guys in their own video, while Miles Bridges and Tobias Harris, it makes sense that they're going after these guys. I'm sorry, guys. It makes Nick Claxton does not. Troy Weaver, why are you obsessed with creating a logjam in Detroit? There's no need. So we're going to go through the Nick Claxton one real quick because I feel like this is the easiest one to discredit. No offense. This is from my coworker, Michael Scotto of HoopsHype. He did a podcast with the Athletics beat writer for the Pistons, James L. Edwards III. And when I look at this team, I'm not discrediting this. It's like nothing new to discredit, but James L. Edwards says he thinks one of the huge issues that the Pistons had this past season was a lack of rim protection, and for all the upside Duren has as a elite rebounder for being 20 years old and having good touch around the rim, he's really got to improve defensively. And it goes back to where you look at Detroit, they find themselves where it's gotten worse every year of the rebuild, and there's pressure to be better sooner rather than later. And I don't think they have the luxury of what most rebuilding teams do, which is let their guys develop. So James L. Edwards suggests that Nick Claxton would definitely check that box, which Detroit desperately needs some interior defense. And Isaiah Stewart's really good on defense in space and on the perimeter, and he isn't a bad rim protector, but they need somebody next to him that's more of a primary option since Isaiah Stewart moved to the 4 spot more. And this isn't saying that Jalen Duren's gone. It's just if they're bringing him along slowly, bring somebody who's definitively pretty good a defender, and then he could be a lob threat. Nick Claxton for Cade Cunningham. Now we'll talk about more about that in a second. What's up with this Malik Monk news? Malik Monk is a guy who's probably gonna win 6th Man of the Year this year. James L. Edwards says they need to have 3-point shooting, and they did so with Simone Fontecchio, who they expect to bring back at the deadline. There's no question that he's back next year. He checks a lot of the box. They have to go out and get more 3-point shooters, though. And someone that he wouldn't be surprised if they target in free agency is Malik Monk. Obviously, Brooklyn and Atlanta are looking for a guy like that, but Detroit needs it, and they, this is not a great draft, and they could just. The other thing is with Claxton and Monk, if they were to go after those guys, they don't necessarily have to pay them long term. They could do short term deals. And I think Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Simone Fontecchio, Jalen Duren, you got your 4 right there. Your 5th is Asar Thompson. And to close out the season, really, bigs wise, it's hard. I don't know. You got Duren. Is Chemsy gonna be a guy that they keep? And I know they kept them, but is he actually gonna be someone that they keep? I don't know. Okay. Clearly James Wiseman's somebody they still have that I have him here. He's listed as a big, so that's something that they're still trying to figure out in terms of their center position. But I understand when they bring a rim protector. The 3 Malik Monk makes more sense than Nick Claxton. I just have a hard time believing that they would willingly bring Duren, who's going into his 3rd season, try to tell him, hey, yeah, you've been getting runs. That's the other thing. I just can't see them actually convincing and not aggravating Duren and just telling you, hey, I know you've been great for us for the last 2 weeks, but you're not the best rim protectors. Instead of spending the offseason fixing your rim protection, we're just going to bring in another guy. I don't see that happening. I see it more likely that, maybe they go out and get an Andre Drummond, who's still a rebounding specialist, who's still got some good hops despite getting older. He's still a lob threat, but he's not a defender, so that's obviously one thing. Now, another one would be Precious Achiuwa, who's a versatile big man on defense, thanks to his length and quick feet. He averaged a block a game this year. He's somebody who could really help them there. I think if they wanted to go the cheaper route, same thing with a Bismack Biyombo. You think they can go out and get themselves a Bismack Biyombo who's going to be able to help them. And if they want to go younger, I think Nemus is on a multi-year deal. And after that, I think realistically, a guy like Kyle Anderson or a Patrick Williams could really help him at the rim. So I think there are other options instead of spending money and going out and getting someone that hypothetically I think you're just going to get for the name. Well, I do like the Malik Monk one. I just think he might cost too much, but they need the shooting, and getting an athletic off-ball guard who has the quickness and leaping ability that Malik Monk has and the ability to get really hot quickly from three and have huge scoring nights any night and does it pretty consistently, like 15 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 45% from the field and 37% from three. You just don't pass up the opportunity to have a player like that in your system. So for me, it makes a ton of sense for them to want to, go ahead and make sure that you can attack and, maximize the offense around Cade Cunningham, who I think Cade Cunningham came into his own this past season.